Hey people, it is Thursday, April the 22nd, and it is 1:07 in the afternoon. And I just got off the subway here at Christie Station. And I will be making my way out to the corner of Bloor Street and Christie Street. And here we are, and I'll be taking a walk north up the length of Christie Street. So here we are at Bloor and Christie, as I said, and this is where Koreatown begins, walking east along Bloor Street. And there's Christie Pitts Park. And here's a look at the station. And it's a kind of cold, windy day. It's only 4 degrees Celsius. And yeah, it's very windy. Here we are passing by the park. Maybe I'll cross the street just to get a better look. This park was once the site of big sand pits. That's why it has sort of this big pit-like appearance. And it was also officially known as Willowvale Park until I think the 1980s, when they finally changed the name to Christie Pitts, because no one called it Willowvale Park. Everyone just called it Christie Pitts. And here's a fun fact: the street and the park are both named after a fellow you might recognize, Mr. Christie, who makes good cookies, one of the co-founders of the Christie Cookie Company. Mr. Christie, you make good cookies. If you're Canadian, you'd recognize that anyway. So Christie Street is mainly a residential street. It does have a few like commercial storefronts along the way. And it goes all the way up to St Clair Avenue. And I've never walked along this part of Christie Street for any reason, really. I've never had any place to go up here on this part of Christie. The only part of Christie I've ever been on is right at Bloor Street. So this would be a new walk for me. You can see this used to be an old convenience store. You can still see the old sign, the Coca-Cola sign on the side here with a bottle. And here we have a Fiesta Farms. It's a supermarket chain. And it looks like these bollards didn't survive. A lot of people apparently can't drive. Can't help but run those over. I actually had to get my gloves out again after not wearing them for a while, so my camera holding hand doesn't freeze. I think there's a bit of a wind chill factor happening right now. Here are some old former storefronts. Looks like most of these are no longer being used for retail purposes, which is kind of sad. At one time, this was probably an interesting little strip of businesses. And here we have some Bay and Gable row houses, Toronto's signature vernacular. It could be a nice little strip of retail if anyone ever wants to rejuvenate those buildings. Ha! It's a good name for a bike shop. Looks to be closed. As Toronto's still in lockdown with a stay-at-home order. Businesses are limited to curbside pickup or online delivery. At least this strip has still retained its retail character for the most part. Here we have the Kingdom Hall of the Jehovah's Witnesses. That's a good spot for an old school convenience store. I'm sure that's what it used to be once upon a time. Here, crossing Dupont Street. Here we have a Loblaws, and you can see some of the towers of the Bloor Yorkville neighborhood. You can see one Bloor East popping up way off in the distance there. There you can see downtown again. The very northern end of downtown. We have an interesting character walking behind. It looks like it used to be an old commercial building. Now it's being used as a residential apartment building. I'm just wondering if once we get up to the top of this hill, if we can look back and get an awesome view of downtown. I'm not too sure, since I've never walked up here, as I mentioned. And here we are at Davenport Road. I have done a video walking along the length of Davenport Road, or most of the length of it, which I called the Street of Staircases, because as you can see that staircase across the street, there are many examples along Davenport of similar staircases, lots of them going up to houses and apartment buildings that line the street. The land here goes up a steep incline because at one time this was the location of an ancient lake, and the lake bed still exists, resulting in this sloping land here. I think the lake was called Lake Iroquois. It was basically a much larger version of Lake Ontario. Just keep looking behind to see if I can catch any view of any sort. Hillcrest Drive. It's a very aptly named street here. And there you can catch a view of Liberty Village off in the distance. And I just noticed there's a few very small scattered flakes of snow falling. You may have seen my video yesterday where we got a bit of a snowfall starting on April 20th and overnight to the 21st. But by the afternoon that had all melted away yesterday. There's not much more than a dusting here in the city, but it did accumulate as much as 5 centimeters in some outlying areas. And over there is the Wychwood Barns. It's the former Toronto Transit facility, which is now used as a community center of sorts. And the theme song to Benson just popped in my head because I just walked past Benson Avenue. If anyone remembers that show. I don't know if you can make out these tiny little snowflakes that are falling.
I just don't want you knowing when you would we tried to get it, put it. And then, and that's how
And here we have St. Clair Avenue. This is the end of Christie Street. And I recently just did a walk along St. Clair Avenue, passing through this area, starting back in Corso Italia. And looking back south down Christie. So I'm just going to walk down to Wychwood Avenue because I will be starting another video walking through the Wychwood Park neighborhood. We're just walking east along St. Clair right now. I know I just recently did this, so I apologize for repeating this particular block. But I thought this would be a good spot to end the video here at Wychwood. And then to immediately begin a new video. Okay, so here we are. This is where I'll wrap this up. Hope you enjoyed this walk along the length of Christie Street, starting from Christie subway station and all the way up here to St. Clair Avenue. And it's starting to snow a little harder now. So if you did enjoy, by all means, consider subscribing and comment and like and share and all that good stuff, and tell your friends and your family. And be sure to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. And if you'd like to support the channel, there's a link in the description where you can do so via PayPal. And you can also find me on Instagram under KContinuum. So thanks for watching, and be sure to keep checking back, because as always, I will continue. And it looks like my next video might be a snow video.